Hi guys, welcome to a video on English language, A-level English language, in preparation obviously for your A-level exams. I'm going to go through just A-level theory, gender and language particularly, to help you understand how to build up that kind of perceptive analysis. You can find me on Instagram at Stacey Ray, subscribe to my website www.staceyray.co.uk, or you can find some of my free stuff on YouTube, again Stacey Ray. So I'm just going to give you, as I say, a few different kind of ideas associated with gender and language. And one of the theories we can look at is Keith and Shuttleworth, and they, in their studies, found that women talk too much. They also found that women nag, which is stereotypical, isn't it? There is polite forms, so women tend to be overly polite in comparison to men, and they are more hesitant, they ask more questions, particularly tag questions. They cooperate more. So in a same-sex female conversation, you will find that women cooperate and support each other more than they do if they are in a mixed sex conversation, and or if we had just males who tend not to be cooperative and supportive with one another and tend to be a bit more competitive. So actually there tends to be a lot of gender theory that is pretty much stereotypical, to be fair. We can also do this notion that men don't really speak emotively. They avoid emotional language and tend to use topics that are linked to sport. So again, that was Keith and Shuttleworth, and they talked about how men will bring in more masculine semantic fields, like introducing, say, football, or introducing something, again, that is predominantly associated with male behaviour. Otto Jesperson in 1922, I'm going this side, he found that women talk a lot more than men. Again, so that's something we can expect. So when you are given a transcript, you might want to see, well, actually it does support Otto Jesperson's findings in 1922, because the woman in this transcript is kind of, in terms of the quantity, taking over, if you like, saying more. They tend to have half-finished sentences. Now, that's an interesting one for you, because when we start looking at transcripts, are their sentences half-finished because someone else has taken the floor? Are their sentences half-finished because they haven't developed where they're going? Or is there another reason why the sentence isn't fully developed? Again, as I've just said, that where men will avoid emotive language and emotional terms, women won't. They will be overly emotive. And again, I suppose that stems back all the way to your notion of a female back in the day. I know obviously we've got modern times now and things like that, but gender roles haven't massively changed in terms of gender and language. Hyperbole. Women tend to over-exaggerate, and that will be with adverbs and that will be with empty adjectives. And he found, which I find interesting actually, that women have a smaller vocabulary than men. Now, as a woman who ran the world, I don't know that I have found that in my own experiences, but here we are. That is, again, just research from the 20s. So that would be interesting to find a more modern take on that, as to whether men do have a wider vocabulary than women. Again, that's up for debate, I suppose. Empty adjectives are interesting because empty adjectives are also argued by Robin Lakoff. So that was 1975. Robin Lakoff also found that women will add empty adjectives to their sentences. They don't add meaning, but it's there for that exaggeration. Like, that was a mint night. You know what I mean? That's Geordie, but you get me drift there. It's not really adding any meaning to the interaction. Make sure you look at your maxims as well, guys, when you are analysing these transcripts. Quality, relevance, quantity, things like that. So Robin Lakoff is a big one. She does a lot for gender and language, and it was 1975, and it's called Language and Woman's Place. She found that women speak less frequently. So that's interesting, because these other theories here are saying actually they talk too much. So you've got a counter argument and a counterbalancing there of Lakoff. She found that women use minimal responses more often. So minimal responses are like, yeah, to go along with the supportive notion, the cooperative notion of a woman, which supports Keith and Shuttleworth there. You see how some of our theorists are going to link up. She said that women tend to speak in standard English. I realise you listen to me now and I kind of veer out of that, but she has found that in her research that women tend to be more formal in their speech. We will also use greater intonation. We will use pitch and tone more than a man will. So I suppose that again goes down to that emotional response that women can have. We use women use like qualifiers, so I think, overly use it. They will, I see, apologise more and be more polite. They will hedge, sort of, kind of, like tag questions we know are added on. It's interesting though, you know, because there's a theorist, okay guys, I'm going to give you this one, called Geoffrey Beattie, and in 1982 he claimed that tag questions actually don't make women hesitant or less confident. These questions are, he said, actually, depending on the context and the question, can be powerful. Because actually some people are asking a question because they're interested in what you're saying, not because they're hesitant. So Geoffrey Beattie, 1982, is going to kind of counteract your Robin Lakoff and her tag question about hesitation. So again, your arguments are there. She found, as I say, that women use empty adjectives, so that agrees with Otto Jesperson. Things like lovely, adorable, it's wonderful type things. Again, women will use more intensifiers. I am so glad you came. It's really interesting. Euphemisms. Women use more euphemisms than men because men will just tell you bluntly what it is, whereas sometimes a woman will try and soften it. So that's another great one when you are doing your analysis of a transcript. She also found that men will paraphrase more often and will definitely be more colloquial, depending on the context. Again, if it's a serious setting, perhaps the men won't do that, but for more often than not, women will use more modals. So could, would, should, than the man counterpart would. So there's a lot in that. Robin Lakoff, Otto Jesperson, Keith and Shuttleworth, and then I'm just going to mention the dominance model just in this video. There's more obviously, and I'll be making more videos as I go, so please keep your eyes peeled. But your dominance model of Zimmerman and West in 1975, it was a study where the subjects used were predominantly white, middle class, and under 35, and they found what we would expect, that men interrupt more, that women are a little bit more submissive, that interestingly that both parents will interrupt the daughters more than they would a son, and that fathers will interrupt more than mothers. So that gives you that if you've got an interpersonal relationship in your transcript to study. But as I say, I found Geoffrey Beattie much more interesting in the sense that he was giving you alternative interpretations as to why a woman will ask questions. And I thought that was interesting that he would say, if it's a powerful question and a question where someone is interested, it's got nothing to do with hesitation. So this is just one quick video, guys, on English language, gender, theory. Please, again, get in touch with me on Instagram at Stacey. I love to hear from you guys and how you're doing. Check out your theorists, and I shall be posting more for A-level English language. Thank you so much for your time, guys.